Hello everybody, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. I've been trying to get this channel off the ground for probably 10 years that I have been wanting to do a YouTube channel and never knowing exactly how to get it going. Always pessimistic. I need this, I need that. And some of it was true. I couldn't get a microphone to link with my phone. I tried many different ones. It was very strange to have that so difficult to do. So I am finally getting this going. I have decided to talk about sobriety, being sober, living sober, getting sober. I struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for many years, and just how I quit and how I stayed sober, and I've been sober now for 17 years, knock on wood. Sober from alcohol, then I quit smoking cigarettes a couple of years later, and then I finally quit smoking the weed, which was the last one a few years after quitting drinking. So I didn't just do it all at once. I picked the worst one, which was the alcohol, and the alcohol always led me to other harder drugs. Thank God I didn't get addicted to those, but I did get addicted to the alcohol. So it was a struggle to get off the alcohol. I have been drinking since I was 13. I had been drinking daily since probably about 23. And I drank daily until 33. So kind of nice, some nice decades there where alcohol and drugs, but mostly alcohol, just took over and destroyed my life. It was crazy how that happened. I never would have thought that I would be an alcoholic. My stepfather was. My biological father seemed to be. I had many other alcoholic people in my family, my uncles and aunties, and just the neighborhood I grew up in was full of alcoholics. And so I remember when I was probably 11, 12, thinking that I would not ever drink and I would never smoke. And I used to say that to people, my family, and they wished me well on that one. And then something happened at 13. A guy on YouTube, Tim Fletcher, calls it complex trauma. So I think just the way my family was with the alcoholic stepfather, the alcoholic people in my life, they kind of neglected a lot of things with me. There was just there was like a dead life, for the lack of a better term. There was no connection in our family. Everybody was in their own world, as it would be. My mom didn't drink, but she would disappear in her room with a migraine pretty much every day after work. So you couldn't really talk to her. I couldn't connect with her. I don't think I ever felt connected to my mother. It's really strange to say that, but, and so that gives gives the life that I was leading at that time at 13. I just felt so alone, so alone. I just remember feeling like I was completely alone in the world, and I think I turned to alcohol as a way to numb that pain. I remember the first time I drank with some friends of mine, really good friend of mine. We went out and because it was easy for us to get alcohol because our parents both drank a lot. We stole some alcohol from each of us, stole some from each parent, and we went out and got blackout drunk the first time I actually went out and drank. I got blackout drunk. So right there, that tells you that I had a problem right off the bat, because you usually don't do that. That's not normal. People don't normally do that. I just remember being just puking and barely cohesive, and yeah, like blackout drunk. It was crazy what I did at the first time. And then after that, it was pretty much, I would never drink just a couple drinks. Like, there was just no point. And I still, to this day, how screwed up I am, I don't see a point to it. I don't see a point to drinking 2 drinks, right? Even after 17 years of being sober and working my program, I still don't see the point in it. Either drink and get shit-faced, or just don't drink. Like, it's that simple to me. I know others don't see it that way, but I do still. And again, that's my sickness. That's why I got to keep working a program. I have to keep doing my best to stay sober and stay out of that. I have gone to AA a lot. It's helped me greatly. It gives me a community, gives me friends that are in the same boat. It really, really helps. I just don't know what else to say than if you're having issues with alcohol or drugs, you have to get some help. You have to get out of it. Your entire life will get better if you can just get rid of those addictions. I mean, it's not the only thing. Like, of course, life is pretty tough on its own. In the AA groups, they say that the alcohol or addiction is 15% of your problem, and the other 85% is your life issues. And that is something that I do agree with 100%. Like I said, when I started drinking, my family was very distant. I didn't feel like I connected. I didn't have anyone really to talk to that, other than some friends of mine in the same age group that were going through the same thing. So they really had no answers. They didn't really have any way to help me. And we all ended up alcoholic addicts. Like, all the people I hung out with back then that were really close friends of mine, we all ended up in the same boat, to different degrees, of course. And some of them have passed away because of alcoholism, right? They just wouldn't quit, and their body quit on them. So that's why I say, you guys, just if you're having issues, man, like, come to channels like mine. Chat in the comments, man. If you leave a comment, I will get back to it. I know how hard it is to quit. I tried for years going to AA, and I just kept slipping and slipping and slipping, and it actually took me going to a treatment center for 56 days to get enough sober days in a row to see life differently, to not want to go back to that alcoholic addict situation. And it was tough to, after coming out of the rehab center, because I didn't have a license due to alcohol, impaired charge, and my family was a fair distance away, but really they just wiped their hands of me, right? My mom and my stepdad had their own issues going on. My stepdad was an alcoholic, bad one, and my mom was dealing with that, so she didn't have any money to help me with or any. And again, we don't connect. She was very, she didn't believe me that I was going to stay sober. I don't know how else to say that one. And then my biological father, he basically wanted me to move into his basement so he could watch me and make sure I was doing what he wanted me to do, even though the house was full of alcohol, and that's what they did constantly, was just drink. So I would have been setting myself up for failure going to live with them. Thankfully, I had a counselor online from the rehab that I went to, that I talked to online a few times a day, or a few times a week, I mean, and he kept me straight and true, and said, no, you can't go and live with your father because he is sick, and you can't just run away from your problems of where you live and not having a job and not having a license. You have to stay there and fix your life problems. And that's what I did. I had a neighbor. She helped me out. She'd take me for groceries. Her and her husband actually hired me to do some construction work for their small construction company. And they picked me up and they drove me to work and they dropped me off. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have made it. I would have lost my house, and then I would have been forced to live with my dad or my mom. Like I would have been, and then would I have stayed sober, right? Would I have fixed my life? That's an iffy question. The world doesn't just hand us things. We have to work at them, and that goes for anything. And the first year was tough, and then the second year I got one of those machines in your vehicle that you could blow into to prove you're sober. And I got that in an old truck, and it was freedom, right? I felt that freedom finally, and I could go and do my thing and go and get work, and I slowly built my way up into having my own construction company. Wasn't anything big, but it was something. And it kept me employed and kept me fed and the bills paid for, I guess, 15 years until the COVID lockdowns came. And that kind of threw a wrench into that one and made me once again reevaluate my whole life and what I was doing and how I was living. And I made some more changes that helped my life, help think straight. I was having major back pain and shoulder pain and just all kinds of pain, and I found out that came from, again, not dealing with those emotions from my youth, right? Not thinking I was good enough, not thinking I was smart enough, not thinking that I was doing well, like all these doubts, all this not loving myself, man. That's what it came down to. And I spent quite a while in a sauna that I built in the backyard. I had no work or anything, so I had lots of time. And as I came to facts about my life that I was blocking out, I just didn't want to listen to them. I thought I knew better, I guess. And we'll get into more detail about this as this channel goes on, but just giving you a brief rundown, pardon me, of the basics here of my life so far, and I have I've really changed a lot now. My back pain is pretty much insignificant. It doesn't show up unless I'm doing some foolish things, lifting too much or or just not active enough. Those things kind of get to me. But it's nowhere like it was before. I used to have to lay on the ground in the fetal position for like a week or two. I couldn't sit, I couldn't stand, I couldn't walk, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't think, I couldn't do anything. That's how bad it was. And again, learning some stuff from this Tim Fletcher dude on YouTube, and stuff from my counselor in rehab, and stuff from AA and NA. I've come to the conclusion again, like I said, it stems from not loving myself, not thinking that I'm worthy, listening to parents and family members criticize me, tell me that I'm not making enough money, that my life isn't going the way it should be, that if I can't afford to fly to Mexico on vacation and pay for all that stuff, that I'm doing something wrong, that I'm not making enough money, I'm not good enough. That's basically what it works out to. And then believing that they were right, and then pushing myself to make more money and to work harder, and to, instead of working 5 days a week, I'm working 7 days a week. Instead of working 10-hour days, I'm working 14-hour days, and taking on more and more and more and more and more, thinking that that's going to make me feel better, right? And all it was doing was killing me, and it was their opinion of me that was driving that. And when I finally said, no more of this, I'm not listening to your crap anymore. I'm doing just fine. I'm feeling better. I'm sober. I'm straight. I'm working my butt off. And if that's not good enough for you, then piss off. And unfortunately, I've had to cut people out of my life, a lot of people out of my life that are family members, that family is supposed to be there to support you. And well, some of them are, some families do that, but my family did not do that. All they basically did was criticize me. It made me feel less than. That's a majority of my family members, cousins, uncles, aunties, fathers, stepmoms, sisters, brothers, and that goes back to, again, how they grew up and how they feel about themselves, right? And that's something that I had to learn. And then I had to forgive them for acting that way, because, again, they're just like me. They're stuck in that pattern of not thinking they're good enough, right? Judging their life compared to other people's lives. And we all live different lives. We're all here for a different reason on this planet. We're here to learn different things. So that's just how it is. Right? I don't need their approval. I don't need to even talk to them anymore. Like, I feel so much better now that I've cut a majority of them out of my life. I do regret it to a point, because they are family, and you do want to have that family connection, right? But when they're not helping you, when they're putting you down and making you feel worse about yourself, every time you talk to them, they're just not worth the time to spend. They're not. Yeah, it's hard to say that. When I say that to a lot of people, they get mad at me. They think that I'm being mean or something, and it's not like I hate them. I just can't have them in my life the way they act towards me. Right? It's just not worth it. It's not worth. Maybe that'll be a little better. The camera last at the very end. Of course, this is my first video, so I'll get better at it. You guys, I know that it's a little hard to see me in the car. But again, if you want to get sober, you want to get straightened out, you want to quit the drugs and alcohol, you want to change your life, you can do it. You can do it, no problem. It's not a problem. It is tough. It is going to test you in every way imaginable. But you can do it. You're going to need help. You're going to need other people in your life that are going through the same thing so that you guys can support each other. And that's what I needed with AA and NA. And something to remember, and I'll just end it with this, is when I was in the treatment center, they said 4% of people that try to quit actually do it. And that's because it's hard. It's hard to change your life. It's hard to change your friends and your family and who you spend your time with. It's hard to admit that we have a problem and we're not able to solve it on our own, that we need to ask for help. Right? We're not taught to ask for help. Right? We're taught to shut up and do it ourselves, and that's not right. It's not right for anyone to be told that. School tells you that, work tells you that, family a lot of time tells you that, friends, society, everyone tells you to just buck up and do it on your own, and it's just not that easy. You need help. So with that, we will see you tomorrow.